Welcome to another edition of Should Christians Play, the series where we do the review on video games past and present. We kind of look and see what is the game like from an accessibility point of view as far as physical accessibility, while we also look, is the game morally accessible for Christians? And that's what we try to answer here today, guys. We're going to today review the game Mortal Kombat 1, an old school franchise from way back in the day. I grew up with these games, and we're going to kind of answer the question today, should Christians play? And we're going to see accessibility-wise, can everyone play as far as accessibility goes? And we're going to kind of do a new thing with our second episode here. Is there ways to make this game Christian accessible? As we did not cover in our first episode. If you missed that, we reviewed Marvel's Midnight Suns. Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Derek. I am a legally blind preacher, so I come at things from a low vision blind accessibility point of view, also a Christian view, but we will also be looking at games from a motor accessibility and deaf and hard of hearing accessibility review as well. And of course, we're going to look at things from a moral accessibility point of view, from a Christian point of view. That sounds like something that would help you guys. You want to support me, go ahead and drop a like on this video if you're watching on Poetically Christian YouTube. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any of our future reviews. And if you're watching on Twitch, guys, go ahead and hit that follow button and you'll be able to join me when I do these reviews live. Yes, guys, today we're reviewing Mortal Kombat 1. Now, this was a game released in 2023, and it's the newest in the franchise. It is a game that has a lot of pluses and minuses to it, and we're going to kind of give a letter grade as far as accessibility, physical accessibility, and also moral accessibility. Yes, as a person speaking from experience, guys, I know that those ESRB ratings can give a lot of frustration, as it leaves a lot to be desired, especially from a Christian point of view. It tells you just the basic things that you need to know, but it doesn't tell you what you want to know, does it, a lot of times? And so that's what we're going to try to do here today. I'm going to look at each section. We're going to give it a letter grade, and then I'm going to kind of give my final thoughts on the end. As far as from the physical accessibility point of view, we'll start there. This game has one of the most robust
settings. Gameplay.
Go to the settings here.
Customize the fight rules.
As you hear,
modes of play.
These are all narrated.
Up and down
Every
button.
one of these menus
Navigate.
are narrated.
Button back.
Unbelievably.
Unlock. Gameplay. Combat. Customize the fight rules used across most modes of play. Round time. Select the rounds to win. Story difficulty. Health details.
As you see, you can set
Toggle
everything. You can even make it very easy, which I did just for this.
Health details. Toggle lowered health bars.
You can toggle whether you want
health bars are lowered.
certain things to appear, audio cues during the game, certain visual aids.
Toggle whether your match replays can be gameplay. Unlock.
Let's go to the accessibility. I'll show you that.
Video accessibility. Visual. Screen
Okay.
reader. Toggle.
We have a screen reader, a narrator.
Adjust the volume of the screen reader. Screen reader speed.
To the volume of the volume, how loud, how fast the screen reader reads.
Select a voice for the screen reader.
You can choose two different types of screen reader, a male or a female voice.
Toggle whether
You can turn descriptive audio. I've never seen this in a fighting game before. You can turn on narration that describes the action that's going on the screen during the different parts of, what's going on. It's unbelievable.
Color blindness. Intensity. Communication. Enable screen reading. Keyboard to speech.
And you got for the deaf and hard of hearing, you have the speech to text that will describe it on the screen. You can do audio mixes.
Cinema. Music. Announcement.
You can turn all the volumes up individually.
Effects. Detailed audio. Fighter movement.
You can even have fighter movement, and things give you cues when you know a fighter is moving, ducking, blocking, using a special move, using a cameo. It's a very, very robust.
Custom health meter. End of fight line. Ducking. Blocking.
I mean, it just goes on and on, guys.
Navigation assist. Cameo form.
Navigation assist. That's for your invasions mode.
Adjust the volume. Accessibility.
which I will get to
Enable
those
screen
in
reading,
a minute.
Text to speech. Other. Revisit
Okay,
administrative
as
screens.
far as this game is
Button confirm.
accessibility-wise,
Up
as
and
you
down
see,
button.
it is
Navigate.
unbelievably
button
robust.
back.
There's even navigations for when you play in the Invasions, which the Invasions is a seasonal mode that you kind of go through on a little map and you pick fight to fight, and you basically win the fight and get experience points, which you can use and eventually get new skins for the characters, things like that. It updates each season. It's a limited amount of time, like a 30 or 90-day window of time where you play a specific season. And in that season, you get specific skins. And then once the season's over, it's over. And it moves on to another thing. But there's even navigation assistance to get around that little map in the Invasions mode. I cannot knock this game for its accessibility, guys. As far as physical accessibility, there is everything. There is subtitle size. There is narration. There is audio description. You can adjust each audio level within the game one by one in each individual section. For motor accessibility, you can literally remap every control scheme you can think of in this game in any way you see fit. Accessibility wise, I give this grade an A plus. This might be one of the most accessible games for anyone that I have seen in a long time. Now, what about the moral accessibility from the Christian point of view?
Settings.
That's what we're going to get
Change
to.
profile. Camp.
Well,
Process.
it all depends on your own discernment, of course. And everyone is different. The things that tempt me
Choose
and the
fighting.
things that tempt you are going to be different.
A button select.
I'm not going to skirt around the
Original
issue. This game is
Navigate.
extremely
button
violent. It is
change
rated
opponent.
M for mature, for
Player two.
blood, for
Press A button
violence,
to join.
for
X
language,
button random select.
and all those
A button
things.
back.
I will say that the female characters are mostly modestly dressed. There is not much as far as sexual exploitation in this game. There's a lot of blood. There is characters who use magic and sorcery, such as Quan Chi and Shang Tsung. However, you do not have to purchase those characters. If you buy the base roster of this game, Shang Tsung and Quan Chi, two sorcerer characters, are not available. They are locked and you can't select them or anything like that. So that is one thing to keep in mind. If you are trying to avoid that kind of content, do not buy the premium edition or a combat pack, because that is who it adds on, as well as adding on Omni-Man, Homelander, Peacemaker, along with other characters. Peacemaker may be a deal breaker and is anything but a peacemaker in this game. He is one of the most offensive characters that you will have within the entire game. He constantly uses the word GD, uses the word of our Savior, JC, and other derogatory profanity throughout the game. So if that is a deal breaker for you, again, part of the combat pack, do not purchase Peacemaker if you are worried about those kind of things in your game. As well as Homelander and as well as Omni-Man, they use profanity as well. I would recommend, from a Christian point of view, not purchasing the combat pack. If you're going to attempt to play this game, just play the vanilla copy. Just play the base game and it wipes out those characters. They are not a factor, because once you download the combat pack, you cannot remove it in any way. I have tried to uninstall this thing. I have deleted my save file. I have uninstalled the entire combat pack, all those things. Tried everything I could. I've even deleted off the Microsoft, as I'm playing on an Xbox, network. Even removed the save file from the network as well as the console locally. It is still there when you reboot the game. Even with the stuff uninstalled, they are still there. So do not play them. And do not download them if you are worried about that kind of content in your game. I am going to show you a wraparound that I have used
settings, gameplay,
to kind of make this
Customize the
more
file
Christian
rules used
friendly.
across online, tournament, video, accessibility, visual.
I'm going to go here, down here.
Communication. Keyboard. Prime. Audio test. Cinema. Music.
Okay.
Cinema.
See how you have
Adjust the
these
volume of
bars?
Story cinematics and rendered movies.
You can adjust the cinema
100%.
level. That's the cinematics that play
Music.
during the game.
Announcer.
The music.
Ambience.
The announcer. The
Adjust
round
volume
one
and
fight.
Ambience. Adjust the
The
volume and
ambient
reverb of
sounds,
ambient
which is
sounds.
just the background
Dialogue.
stuff.
Adjust volume of spoken
Dialogue. I turned this
0%.
to 0.
Left and right button. 0%. Left
The
and right
reason
button.
I turned this to
Change.
0%,
Up.
I will show
Accessibility.
you,
Settings. Adjust
is
gameplay
because
rules, audio
in the
mix,
game,
video calibration,
they have
change campaign
their little,
versus
I don't know what, interactions with each other when a fight begins. And if that is turned
Choose
up,
fighter.
you get to hear all
Scorpion.
of those
A
things.
button select.
If you're wanting to
Directional
avoid, as a Christian,
Navigate.
hearing any blasphemous
Y button, change
words,
opponent type.
any profanity, anything like
Press a
that,
button to join.
turn the dialogue
X button,
bar
random
to
select.
0,
B button
and
tab.
you will never hear any of that dialogue or interaction between them. It is completely blanked
Reptile.
out. I'll show you guys.
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero.
Homelander. A button select.
We'll
Shang
just
General Shao. Sindel. Tanya. General Shao. Shang Tsung. Homelander. Choose cameo.
we'll just pick Homelander, for
Striker.
example.
Kung Lao.
Striker. Kung
CPU difficulty.
Pick our
Medium. Beginning
campaign.
Night.
As you
Left bumper and
see,
right bumper.
right
Change
here, they're
variation.
normally talking.
The Gateway.
It's blanked out, guys. Nothing. You can completely blank out all this interaction, and they just go back to fighting. Right now, there'd be interactions again. Nothing.
Move list.
And of course,
A
you can
button
go
confirm.
into your
Up
fight,
and
and
down
you
button.
can avoid all that. Now,
Navigate.
as far as the blood,
Wallet.
there is no way of
37
turning the
easy
blood
fatality
off in
tokens.
this particular Mortal Kombat game. So, if that is a deal breaker for you as a Christian or a parent, there is no way around the blood in this game. The fatal blows, which is when you charge your bottom meter and fill it, and you use those, I will say this time are less gory as they're more focused on an X-ray style attack, and it focuses on the bones inside of the person that are getting, abused and things like that, rather than in Mortal Kombat 11 where it focused on extremely gory, bloody things like that. But if that is a deal breaker for you, there is no way of turning the blood off as far as accessibility, moral accessibility for a Christian. As I said, you're able to turn the dialogue off. Even if you don't like their ending movies, you can either skip them, and you can also, where I showed you in those bars, you can turn the cinema volume to 0 as well, and it blanks that, so you don't have to hear any of that. When it comes to the end of the fight, there is fatalities in this game, but you do not have to perform them. As always, when the end of the fight comes, it is your decision whether you do that or not, as it requires a sequence of button presses to be pushed to do those things. So from an adult point of view, it is up to you whether you do that. You could simply just let them fall over and not do anything or anything like that. So that part stands in your court. The storyline wise, storyline I would not play, as you have the ability, as you install this game and purchase this game, you have the ability to install what you choose, section by section. You can choose to install the invasions mode, to install the story mode, and the base game. I have only installed the base game, where you're able to play
Move list.
towers, which I will show
Cancel. Confirm.
you.
Campaign. Story.
As you see, it says
Waiting for
campaign.
install. A button
Waiting
can-
for install the
Invasions.
story.
Waiting for install. Towers. Unlock
But
character
towers.
ending. Novice.
Here
Pick
you
six of-
choose
choose
your
fighter.
typical
Scorpion.
towers, your novice,
button
warrior,
select.
champion,
Directional
which is
tab.
basically your easy,
Navigate.
normal,
button
and
tab.
difficulties. In here, you can still, play through your little towers, play and get your little character endings, things like that. As I said, do not get Peacemaker, as his ending, again, uses the Lord's name in vain. I would not recommend that. But there is ways around it. You can skip those by hitting the B button on Xbox. I'm sure it would be the circle button on your PlayStation. And you do not have to watch those ending movies. And you can also blank the sound, as I said. So, this is a complicated review as far as a moral Christian point of view on Mortal Kombat 1. If blood does not bother you in a game, and if you're not, bothered by that from a moral standpoint, then you have the ability, as I said, the choice is in your hands whether to finish off opponents or do those acts. You do not have to do those things. You do not have to install the story mode, which has blasphemous content as far as GD, sorcery, things like that within the story mode. You do not have to install that content, nor do you have to install the invasions content either. I would recommend, if you're going to play this as a Christian, only playing the base game with the base roster of characters and avoiding half of the troublesome characters in Quan Chi, Shang Tsung, Peacemaker, Omni-Man, Homelander. All those can be avoided by simply purchasing the base game without the combat pack. If that's the case and you turn the dialogue to 0, you have the ability to skip the cinematics. You could turn the cinematics to 0 in their volume and avoid hearing any of that. And you just want to play this game as a pure fighting game, and you're okay with a little bit of blood and you don't have to finish them off. As an adult, I would give Mortal Kombat a C as far as moral accessibility. There's a little bit of magic, a little bit of those things. Again, it's fantasy. We're able to divide these things that they are not real. This isn't someone performing magic in the real world, in real life, as we know that's wrong. But if you are convicted and your discernment says that's not good for you, then that's in your hands, and I would totally understand that from a Christian point of view. So morally, I would give this game a C, as the blood really kind of is the deal breaker and the vulgar content that can be avoided. With that being a C. If it was not able to be avoided as the options we were presented, I would give this game an F. So my final thoughts, this long-winded review, guys. I know it was long and it takes a lot to kind of break this down. Johnny Cage can also be a deal breaker in this game, but you can reskin him with the Jean-Claude. If you purchase the Jean-Claude Van Damme skin, you can put that over top of Johnny Cage, and it changes his dialogue and things to kind of be a little less vulgar, in my opinion. That's another way of kind of avoiding one of the more vulgar characters on the game. Yeah, from a moral accessibility standpoint, I give this game, I would give this game a C. And from the physical accessibility feature standpoint, I would give this game an A. I have never seen a more accessible game for anyone in a long, long time. So that's been my long-winded review. I tried to help you. Like I said, the story mode, Johnny Cage ruins the story mode with his GDs and JCs and things like that, so I wouldn't recommend it. Wouldn't recommend the invasions, as it's kind of grindy, and there's some sorcery and things like that. But if you're simply just playing the towers and versus mode locally, and you're just doing it to have some fun, the blood is the only holdback, as you can kind of blank out everything else with your volume controls, and you do not have to finish off your opponent. So hopefully that's helped you from a Christian point of view and an accessibility point of view. Gave this game an A for accessibility. I give this game a C for moral accessibility, and overall I would give this game around a B-. So I hope that's helped you on deciding whether to play this game online, play this game on a Game Pass, a PSN, or save you a few dollars if you decide to purchase or not purchase this game. As always, use your own discernment, guys. It's in your hands. Our faith and our walk with God are in our own hands. I hope this has helped you. If it has, go ahead, hit the like button on YouTube, guys. Also hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any of our future reviews, to help you decide should you play this as a Christian. And if you're watching on Twitch, guys, hit the follow button and you'll be able to join us live when we do any of these Christian reviews, as well as our live gameplays, guys, where we just have a little faith and fun while trying to reach heaven. Hope this has helped you, guys, and until the next one, I love you, God loves you, and blessed wishes, guys.